Welcome. This is Bob Bitchin66 with another daily race at Autodromo de Interlagos. That's Brazil, people. I am driving the illustrious McLaren 650S Group 4 race car with my own custom livery, actually, designed after my dad's race car growing up. Without further ado, let's get the race underway. Pay no attention to the Lamborghini hopping on top of cars. And I've got a Ferrari and Mercedes behind me, so no pressure. I'm starting in 16th today, and it's going to be a pretty miraculous one. You're going to see me climb quite a few positions. So as we get going here, a very interesting track, a lot of curves, a lot of slow turns. So oversteer is going to be the biggest issue, and trying to keep the car from oversteering. Luckily, I am in a Group 4, so it's not too bad. I'm able to get an early pass right here, late braking against the green Huracan as I come behind this yellow Porsche. And keep an eye on this yellow Porsche. You're going to see a lot more of him as we go throughout the race. Him and a Magani Trophy hatchback Group 4. As I was saying, interesting track, a lot of curves, a lot of straights. The McLaren might not be the best car for this track, but it feels like a very well-rounded and well-balanced car. So I feel that I'm able to definitely put the throttle on a little earlier in turns without any fear of typically oversteering. This first lap is going to be a big race to just settle into things. A lot of going 2 wide, 3 wide through these turns. So here is the Magani I was talking about. Coming up on this Huracan, trying to get a late brake move on the right. I slam on those brakes, trying to avoid all penalties that I can, get a little bit of a love touch from the Magani on the left, and I am going to try to ride the outside to get around him, but he's just going to have that inside apex, and I'm not going to be able to get around. Going to settle into 15th here, gaining 1 position. Still a good fight coming through these turns. The cool thing about Brazil is there is a set of S's as you kind of come into this main section. And it's a lot of elevation changes. Not too much braking into hills. Essentially, right here you get like a little bit of an incline, but it's nothing too wild. It's not going to affect necessarily the handling of your car. So coming up on the end of lap 1, I'm trying to go 3 wide on the Magani here. He's not the fastest car on the straights, as you'll see. There's going to be a lot of give and take between us, and it's going to be some good fights. So that's why I really enjoyed this race. It's not too edited till the very end where things kind of really settle, but there's some good fights going on. So I'm going to try to push to the left. I lock up the brakes, deploy smokescreen a little bit, and the Magani does come in on the left. Rides the grass a bit, but I don't think he's going to grab a penalty here. I'm just going to try to play it safe. I don't want to get any penalties. So lap 2, I'm in 14th place. I've made 2 positions since the start, and I'm going to try taking this lap to really kind of go through what I'm kind of thinking as I come through here. So coming into this turn, I'm going into 3rd, essentially 2nd gear, but only if I'm coming into the turn too hard. See, there is a good amount of space to get some good exit speed, so you don't want to clip that too far on the inside. You kind of want to ride the outside. Here you got a little bit of a kink coming to the right. I like to downshift just 1 to kind of get into the higher power band. I feel like I can really grip this turn very well, come out on the outside, and put me in the perfect position to grab that inside apex for this, not a hairpin, but a horseshoe, I guess I'd call it. So staying behind the Magani. I'm trying to grab kind of what draft I can, but in these turns, it's really going to be more about just making the distance, a little bit of a late break here, and I'm really trying to avoid the fights. As you can see, the Huracan is pretty aggressive right up there. I'm going to try to grab the inside on this Magani. Coming around the inside, I am going to go kind of side by side with him. Try to late break into the Huracan. Stay away from the Porsche that's got the penalties, and I'm going to try coming down the inside. Where's the Magani at this point? I'm not quite sure, but the Porsche does have me back off a bit, and the Magani is able to catch up on those straights. The last turn is a bit of a drag race to the finish line, so grabbing a slipstream here is really the most important part. And as you can see, everyone is still very congested for going into lap 3. So as we come into the first set of S's, the Magani takes a late brake move on the inside. I try to take the outside so we can get the most exit speed out of this and come into the right part of that S. And thus begins the duels of the fates with this Magani and Porsche. I was calling them my yellow boys while I was just riding through here. We go 3 wide coming down this main straight, as I'm going to definitely try to pull a late brake maneuver, but it could get messy. I fall back behind the Magani. I let things kind of take their toll. I go a little too far on the outside, and I am going to grab the infamous half a second penalty. I was not able to keep 2 wheels on that tarmac, which is what you need to do if you want to avoid that penalty. So coming up here, Porsche goes a little bit of Tokyo Drift on me. The Magani's hugging the inside. I'm trying to stay behind well enough just to make sure that I'm not going to get caught in this. One of the Porsches goes off to the left. I'm going to attempt to hang on the outside, which almost never happens. The Magani plays good defense. Not sure if he just lost the traction or he was actually trying to cover me, but good move on him. The Huracan, that still can't decide when this race wants to start, jumping all over the track, is still up to his mind games, but it's not going to phase me today. I'm here to fight for 11th or 10th. I'll take either. So coming in outside, I want to clip in the inside apex so I can get the most speed delivery. Unfortunately, the Porsche is going to box me out, so I'm going to have to fall off the throttle a bit and at least try to grab the draft off this Magani so I can slipstream past him. Trying to grab the Porsche's slipstream here as the Magani tries to play blocker. It's not going to work. Yellow boys are still at it again. I'm going to go here on the late break with the Porsche. Is the Magani going to pull a move? He is not. He's going to ride on the outside. He's not going to be able to come past me there. Huracan still needs to figure things out. I'm clipping on the inside now. We got a good little formation here, but I do have my half a second penalty for going off the track to handle. Just taking a moment of silence. So the Magani passes me right here, and I'm going to deploy smokescreen again. I was a little delayed. He was not able to get that into his windshield, so I'm going to clip the inside here, and I am going to get that cut back to take the position back, and we're now sitting in 10th. 6 positions up from where we started. The Porsche has a good amount of distance ahead of me. Not too bad, though. Probably like a good second. Here is where I'm really going to excel on just making sure my turns are consistent and trying to block out the Magani, constantly checking my radar, making sure that we're not going to conflict with each other. The one thing I really enjoyed about this race is that my boys in yellow here were really good about just racing a fair race. None of them were trying to do some shady maneuvers. The Magani knew when he needed to back off, and it made for a good race. It was probably one of my favorite races I've done, which is why I really didn't want to cut too much out until things kind of settle. So a drag race to the end of this lap here with the Magani right on my side. This race is a bit of an endurance, but nothing too wild. Luckily, I didn't have to focus on fuel management. Just the one swap of tires is where I'm thinking, because as you'll see as I get to lap 6, 7-ish, you'll really feel that the tires are going to give out, and you're going to start losing those small seconds that can make a big difference. When people do start going into the pits, they're going to just start passing you left and right. So you do need to just prioritize that quick 5-second, no fuel change type of pit stop. Coming down here on the straight, I'm behind the Porsche, trying to grab a slipstream from what I can. Going to downshift here into third, clip it a little too early, but I am able to get some good exit speed going towards the outside of the turn. Thankfully not grabbing that penalty again. Getting a good amount of speed coming out of that turn. I am going to hop to the right of the Porsche. Looks to me that he's flashing his hazards at me. I'm not quite sure why. I do see him. I am going to try avoiding him at all costs, as you see me flailing from right to left, trying to get an inside, outside move. I'm not sure. Coming in here, we're into the slow S's. I clip that. As you'll see, I go into first gear, which I'm not sure is the best way to take that turn, but it made me feel better about being able to clip that inside well enough. In second gear, I pushed too much to the outside, and I was getting past a lot on the inside, like that Magani just did. So, coming up here on the last turn of this lap, I'm going to do what I do best, grab some slipstream, try to keep this race going. Tire wear not looking too bad yet, but just in general, because we are only going 11 laps, I am going to try, really giving myself 4 to 5 laps worth. Giving me 1 lap to get the hard tires warmed up. Oh my god. Coming into lap 6 out of 11 here. I'm going to take the inside on this Magani while avoiding the Lamborghini. And the Magani does get a good late brake maneuver on me, and he is able to grab that position. I'm going to have to back off coming into this turn because I just do not want to ram into him. I'm very proud of the clean race that the boys in yellow have had. So we're going to all slipstream together like we're in this race for ourselves, and Oh, we all love yellow. Oh my god, I got distracted. Okay, coming into turn 3 here. The 8th place car going a little far out on the penalty zone, so we know that we can look forward to that. The Megane giving the Porsche a little bit of a love tap. And yeah, it's that Mitsubishi Lancer that we're going to be going against. It's getting real congested here. I'm going to try hugging the inside, but honestly, I don't want to push too far because I see that the Lancer's going to be a bit on the aggressive side. Love taps from the Megane to the Porsche, just letting him know he's still there on the outside. I'm going to try hanging on the outside here so I can come in for an inside apex. Porsche gets a little bit shoved and he is off into the grass. It's me and the Megane now, and the Porsche is going to be behind us. Megane gets a good amount of distance here, but he does tend to slack on this final turn here in the race, so I'm going to go for a little bit of a late break here and get my best exit speed out. We all know that he's not too great in the straights, and he does grab a penalty for knocking the Porsche out into the sand. Now I got the Lancer behind me. The Porsche is a bit behind. He's practicing his social distancing, so it's going to be just me and the Megane. But wait a second, it's pit time, so I'm going to fly into these pits at 120 miles an hour and get my 4-second tire change. Gonna be getting still the racing hards. Didn't have any choice to change, or else I would be on the super softs. My boys in white here really giving a good pit stop. The Porsche is back in my vicinity, so I'm just gonna try to get out of the pits here as quickly as I can. And this lap is really gonna be about trying to make sure that my tires are getting warmed up. So you're gonna see me really kind of short shift a bit, really try to go into my turns as safe as possible. I'm not feeling too much of a threat from the car behind me. The Evo is somewhat behind me, but nothing too crazy. So I'm really going to take my time to get through these turns and just get the tires warmed up. So fast forwarding here to lap 8. Not much happened in that lap there, so the Lancer is still behind me, but the Megane, our original boy in yellow that I've been fighting with this whole time, is back. So is he going to catch up to me in this turn? Not exactly. I am going to go a little bit off that runoff right there and not grab the penalty, which is really nice. We are now in 9th from 16th place, so I'm feeling pretty good right now, and I'm expecting that generally 5 to 6 positions is where I tend to sit when I qualify real late in the game for these daily races. But there is a lot of penalties going on. Our Porsche friend in the front is getting a little handsy with the Black Hurricane. So there is going to be some penalties coming from his direction. In a very slow turn, a lot of conflict there. The Porsche is once again back onto the grass with a very unsafe entry. I'm going to cut inside because I don't want to get involved with that. I ride the grass a little bit, but nothing too crazy. The Megane and Porsche are now back reunited, all 3 of us together once again, and it feels great. So coming down this last turn here, I got a good gap to the Hurricane, who's going to get in his own fight with the red car in front of him, which looks like there's going to be a good amount of conflict between both of them. So hopefully I'm going to be able to grab an extra spot there if things do get slowed up from the traffic due to that fight. So coming into lap 9 here, and this is where, I'm going to be able to make my best moves possible here. My tires are feeling good. I'm getting a good amount of grip, so I'm able to come into these turns a lot more heavy. I ride 2 wheels in the grass right there, which tends to be the best way to cut that corner, and that gives me a good amount of exit speed going into this straight. I'm going to try to slipstream as best as I can on this Hurricane, and quite a miraculous thing is going to happen. So you'll see as I downshift into 3rd here and try to get as much exit speed as I can, the red car comes in, goes through, and it confuses the Hurricane. A massive crash on the left side. Oh, doesn't exactly ghost out, takes the Lancer all the way out, and I'm able to grab 6th place here right behind the Ferrari. My Megane and Porsche friends are left behind that carnage, but that is going to give me a great spot behind 5th place, and really that's where I'm going to sit for this whole race, and I'm going to go by the grandstands right there, give them a good wave, and I'm going to stay here taking 6th place. 10 positions today, coming from 16th place to grab 6th, so it feels really good. We had a lot of good fights with the Megane and the Porsche, and really a good race that not too much to even edit out. It was really just consistent throughout the whole way. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to give me a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about the race, and I will see you guys on the track next week.
Perfect.